Someone asked what was going on here, so I'm going to try and explain it as best I can.
So there was 2 3-cores in the light fitting, as well as a twin and earth. Now, forget the neutrals, forget the earths. We all know they go together. And someone was asking the way it was wired and what the purpose of having an auxiliary and a permanent, etc. is. So you've got a permanent, only ever going to be switched off when the MCB is turned off. The grey, again, was neutrals. In this example, it was sleeved up. So again, we can forget about that. And we know that they're where they go. And then you had a black, which was also a live, but this was your auxiliary live. So this works for the emergency. So the light fitting we had was not an emergency light fitting, but rather than running 2 sets of cables, you run the same set of cable with extra cores in it, and then you just chock block it inside the fitting. And the way this works is inside emergency fittings, this would connect to the battery pack. And then whenever you come to do your emergency lighting test and use the key switch, this would then become dead, at which point your battery will kick in, and that's how you test your emergency lighting. And then you also had your switch wires. So this was wired a bit differently. So the permanent, the feed actually come into light fittings from one end of the circuit, and then all the way to the other end of the circuit is where the switch wire was. Clever way of wiring it, saves cable once again. Try not to think too much into it. It all makes sense exactly how, it's all wired exactly how you'd expect a normal lighting switch wire system to be wired. But yeah, so someone asked what the need is to run a permanent and a switch wire and the auxiliary wire. So we put a good example of this is we put a pump socket off the light in, as it was very low demand. So we use the permanent supply, so that's always going to remain live like a standard radial circuit until the MCB is turned off. Whereas if we put it in with the auxiliary, every time someone comes to do their emergency lighting test, they will be switching the pump on and off, on and off. And yeah, it's just not there. It can be done, it's bad practice, but yeah, it's just not great. But yeah, hope that clears it up. Any questions, put it in the comments.